Informal.
Did you know?
Okay, let's introduce ourselves first. Say your name and your year, and that you all went abroad to Luxembourg together.
Should I say when I went abroad?
Yeah.
I'll be like, I went abroad sophomore spring semester.
No, just say last year during the spring.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Sinyal. I'm a junior. Can I do that again? Okay.
Hi, I'm Tyler. I'm a senior. I went to the second semester of my junior year.
Come back to me.
I'm John Shea. Hi, I'm John Shea.
In the background. Come back to me.
Hi, I'm John Shea. I'm a senior, and I went abroad last year in the spring.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sinyal. I'm a junior, and I went abroad last year in the spring.
Okay. Before you went abroad, did you hang out with different people than you hang out with now
Yeah.
on a regular basis?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you don't hang out with those people at all anymore?
There's a couple people I don't see anymore. Yeah, a couple people I just don't talk to anymore.
Who do you
hang out with a lot?
Who do you hang out with most of the time now?
People from Lux.
I hang out with mostly people from Lux as well. There are still some people that I hang out with on a consistent basis, but there are people that I only see uptown now, and I still talk to them and hang out when we're uptown, but I don't really go over to their house and hang out as much.
Yeah, there were people that we hung out before that was a lot more frequent, and now it's maybe once a week or twice a week max, and usually it's just our good friends from Luxembourg that we hang out the most with.
How do you, this is going to be an awkward question, but how do you feel about the friends that you made in Lux? Do you think of them differently than the friends you had before you left?
I guess like in terms of friendship, like I think I have like the same like close relationships with them, but I think they might just be a little bit closer just since we were like the better friends I had from Lux I'm closer than the better friends I had before just because we were in such like a different type of setting where it's just us, different country. I think we just kind of hung out
and we
a lot
saw
more.
them every day, all day.
Yeah.
We'd wake up and go to the chateau at 8 o'clock and stay there till 4 o'clock, and then go out to the boot at 8 again. So you're spending a lot more time with them than you do with the people back here.
And what's the
and
boot?
You get really close with them because you're all like on the weekends, all staying in like a cramped hostel, and everyone's just like not wearing makeup, just not showering. It's disgusting.
You hear a lot of things that you don't really want to hear when you're
Yeah,
living
you learn
in a
a
hospital.
lot of intimate secrets
Split
are shared.
6 and 5 girls and guys. You really just hear things.
There's a lot of things that go on.
Any examples?
Girl issues that guys don't usually want to hear about.
So yeah, there was a lot of girl issues.
That just were expressed at too regular basis to me, so we all knew what was going on and when it was going to go on the next month.
No comment on that. Okay, no comment.
Okay. Can you tell a story? Preferably not too completely alcohol related, but if alcohol is acceptable.
Well, I mean,
That y'all were all there, that's particularly memorable to.
I have one.
Are you gonna, okay.
Well, this was in Prague. I'm kidding. I'm eager to.
No, it's right.
I'm trying to think of one that didn't involve alcohol.
Well, that dude, the main player wasn't.
Yeah. This is clearly a struggle, which is probably an issue that should be addressed. I'm trying to think of days.
Oh, God.
I mean, most of the day was just traveling around, going to all of the different, like, cultural settings that you feel like you have to go see before nighttime hits and you start going out to bars and stuff. Like, when we were when me and Joshua went to London, we just, like, got on one of the tour buses, hit all the main spots, and then at night we went on a bar crawl, and then went home. I didn't do anything after the bar crawl.
That's how you just go through it.
What was your favorite part about Luxembourg?
Wait, the country or
The experience.
Probably. I can't say anything for you.
It's like a toss-up between...
You were gonna say alcohol? Like, really?
I think
Getting drunk was not friends.
Toss-up between, like, just like, Wednesday night was really big at the boot.
Which is the
What is the boot?
The bar is like the boot in the town where the school was, where everybody went.
It's a bar that's like right across from the Chateau.
So there's a lot of, like, Monday night was the biggest.
We'd go there at like 3 p.m. after
So-
we got to our classes.
A lot of like that, and then like, but also then like highlights of certain traveling weekends.
And
Like,
I really like the train rides sometimes too. Like I didn't like flights as much because you're just kind of like in close quarters. But
Yeah.
when we'd be on trains and there'd be like tables of like 4 people,
Yeah.
we just play euchre
So
for a
there's-
couple hours. And
We
hang
had
out and talk.
there was like a couple of train rides where there were like 30 of us,
Yeah.
and we had the whole
Switzerland.
car to ourselves.
Yeah, in Switzerland we had like 35
And
of us, and people would like walk into the car, see us all, then turn around and just leave. And it was just like a party train, I guess you'd call it, for like 6 hours. It's like that was a blast. Yeah.
Also, sometimes trying to figure out where we were going to eat, and then after we went and ate at the restaurant, talking about how it was the worst restaurant experience of all time. Like when we went to
That was
Like,
like
it
Barcelona.
was
No,
like-
it was Barcelona.
Barcelona, it was like Antonio's or something, recommended by the hostel, and we all went there.
Oh, it was the worst
It,
experience of
like
my life.
the waiter walked by at a certain point and just like smiled because he knew we all thought it was the worst restaurant of all time. Like they ordered tacos and it was just like diced up, really chewy ham, and like my pizza was
Horrendous.
burnt. Like what the hell? And
I'm kind of gagging right now.
it was pretty bad. And situations like that. It was difficult to find good places to eat because we're just tourists. We don't really know when it's a good restaurant.
But that made it a lot better. That made it a lot better when you did find a good restaurant.
Ugh. There was one restaurant in Luxembourg, Condors.
Casa Pomodoro. It was really good food. Was nice and good, and the owners were like the coolest Italian people of all time, and they just had giant bottles of limoncello, and they just like force feed us limoncello after the meals, and it was absolutely incredible.
That's how I get my 20 pounds.
So were there,
I think that is it
I
right.
think that was fast.
That could have been fast.
Could make kebabs too.
so were there any times when you were alone? Like, I feel like everything you taught, like,
I mean, in our house we had our own rooms, so like there was like 6 of us, and we had our own room. But like if you were in the chateau,
No.
unless you were sitting in a corner with your headphones in,
You were with,
you were with like
people
20
and
different
joking
people.
around watching Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's played it. Was
Ferris
one.
Bueller,
non-stop.
Ferris Bueller and
On
Field of
repeat.
Dreams were pretty much on repeat for the entire year.
on what? Was
they,
there like,
they have a set of like VHS tapes.
But no DVD, just
Yeah.
VHS.
There were 2 guys with some Cruel Intentions too. Don't know why.
Wait, and American Idol, like,
American Idol Rewind, like old championship games from like 1995, like just absurd things that don't need to be there. I'm trying to think of more sober stories to tell.
I need you to talk about kind of like more about the story that I'm writing is supposed to focus on like the social aspect of going to Luxembourg and how you kind of make these new friends that you're closer to than the friends you had before. So if like maybe the difference in, I mean you talked about it a little bit, but like the difference in the relationships you have with the people that you went to Lux with versus, I know I already asked you that.
Well, like I know that over the summer, like I hung out with a couple of my friends, and one of my friends was like concerned that like I was just gonna completely stop hanging out with her and only hang out with my Lux friends. And I mean, I see her. I think she over exaggerated I mean, I don't see her as much, but like freshman year we lived in Anderson together, so like every day I could see her. And then like sophomore year, I lived in Scott, she lived in Dodd, so it was across the street. And, I mean, eventually you don't live in the same area. It's just more difficult to see each other.
Yeah.
But I think we do a fairly good job of hanging out, like, on a consistent basis. It's just not as often.
Mhm.
and like, even with like our roommates, it's like weird because we try like at the beginning of the semester to take them to these parties, and it'd be like all Lux people, and they just would feel like such outsiders because like we just all have like this bond.
There's still, I mean, the thing is, you're gonna be with the same group for 4.5 months. You're gonna have so many like inside jokes and stories that nobody else is gonna have any understanding about. One, not only because they weren't there, but because they had no idea what the setting was, or like what was going on culture-wise, or whatever. So it's just hard to relate. Like unless, like obviously, if you've maybe gone abroad, so you kind of relate to certain things that we would have done with our friends there. But it still isn't different. Like most of the memories I have are because like I'm shared with those people. Like like those experiences are amplified because of the people I'm with, and like that it helps me become better friends with those people and get closer.
Mm.
Where like, I mean, stuff happening in Oxford like isn't. I mean, it's memorable, but it's just not the same.
It's not in Paris or
Yeah.
London
Yeah.
or Berlin or anything
Prague
ridiculous.
Hospital.
It's
It's
to
when
the
it
point
happens. It happens every weekend. It's when it happens like the same weekend, like it all just and then I'll have the same experience like a week or two later, where I'm never gonna have the same experience that I had with friends in like Italy or Paris.
Yeah, these weekends like run together, but then like in Luxembourg,
You can
like,
remember
oh,
things.
I was in Berlin. Oh, I was in Paris.
And what happened in those?
Yeah.
It's to the point where one of our friends actually is able to tell stories from Lux, even though he didn't go to Lux. He just will be like, oh, tell us about the time that this happened, and he'll go on like a full rant for like 5 minutes telling the story because he's heard it that many times. Or anytime we start telling a story about Europe that he hasn't heard, or telling some kind of inside joke, he just
Fucking
shakes his head and says, F in Europe. I guess I'll say, fucking Europe. I don't know if that's appropriate for the camera, but he just shakes his head and says, fucking Europe. And, I mean, can't do much about it when you're hanging out with like 15 people who all went to Lux and know the inside jokes, but he deals with it pretty well and tells the stories to us.
It's amazing. It's really kind of interesting with our semester because we all like there's a lot of us that still hang out all together.
Yeah.
People are actually shocked. Like, there's
Well, you
probably
that
about
way with
20 of us that on a consistent basis will like hang out pregame and go to Top Deck, and then like there will like randomly one night be someone who just decides to go to Top Deck that also went to Lux with us, and they'll just come into Top Deck and be overwhelmed with the amount of Lux people that are there. They're just shocked that like we all still hang
But
out.
it's like a normal night for us, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that should be good, unless y'all have anything else to add.
Do you want more?
No, I think that should be long enough.
Stories.